during the sanctions, they would allow Iraq to sell some oil in return for letting them buy some humanitarian goods. Because if you remember, in 1991, when we liberated Kuwait, we completely destroyed the infrastructure of Iraq. And while Saddam Hussein remained in power and could brush his teeth with Perrier, the population suffered enormously from the lack of electricity and clean water. And we went through hospitals where they had no painkillers. They couldn't even operate on people with proper lights or proper equipment. And so this program came into existence, allegedly to help them. And we did help to a large extent, but it was with Iraq's own resources. And I think we had a duty to the population of Iraq to make sure that this ran smoothly and that the resources went to them. Instead, what happened is that a lot of the money was siphoned off through corruption. And this was kind of an open secret for as long as the Iraqi people were not free. And so after the war, this list leaked. And I had a contact who was a woman who came from Iraq and who I spoke to the director about, and whose name I could not mention because of security concerns, but who warned me that proof of massive corruption had now been established, and that there was a list containing every company that was corrupt and person that was corrupt. And on that list, you had, 2,300 of the biggest companies in the world who agreed to pay kickbacks to Saddam Hussein. And you also had people. And one of these people was the UN Undersecretary General for whom I had worked and traveled to Iraq with. And I was completely flabbergasted at seeing that. And I thought we needed to have a real independent investigation into the matter. To be honest, I thought it would clear his name probably, because he had been with me to these hospitals and cried at the fate of a young girl who couldn't get treatment and who was going to die within the month. And these very, very emotional moments that leave you with nightmares. And but it turned out that they proved that he also played the game of corruption, and so that made the outlines of a story that I thought was close to kind of a Wall Street kind of scenario, and that's a whole genre within the storytelling business. I had already quit and gone to film school at NYU, and I thought, okay, we have something here that I think I want to explain fully, the experience of starting at a job and then discovering how the world really works. And the UN Vantage Point offers a window on the world that's quite unique, because every state is there involved. In this case, we had the world's largest companies involved as well. We were working in the middle of airstrikes and war, and we were the office that also allocated money to the arms inspectors, and we were really at the center of the storm for a while, because the Iraq conflict really marked the whole generation, my generation. We came of age, graduating high school in '91 during the first war, going to college during the time of the worst impact of the sanctions. And there was an opportunity to do some good, and I jumped on it, even though there were some dangers and stuff involved in going to Iraq at the time. Before the war, I thought it was worth it, and I gave it my best. And then when you find out that your most sort of idealistic years were given to a program that was fundamentally corrupt and hypocritical, and you do something about it, then it leaves you with a story I thought it was worth telling in book form, because that was my only, I had no film contacts. The agencies are, how it is, impossible to get through. So I wrote a book. I met Sam Shepard at a bar, and he said, just tell your story the way you told it to me just now. And I thought, well, if the biggest playwright of our generation is telling me that, then maybe it's worth doing. And I went ahead and just queried normally, agents, and they liked the story. And so the book is written with a humorous tone and is completely, only real. And the film is very, very close to reality, but you have to fit a story that took several years within an hour and a half, so there's choices to be made. We went with a Danish director who has a sense for drama, and Ben Kingsley played an amazing role as my former boss, and Theo James, I think, was very true to the experience, and so we went ahead and made the film, and so of course, the drama is a fantastic way to reach people. At a time when the news cycle is so fast that we hardly have time to stop and think, storytelling is an amazing tool. It's very